An echo resonates in the stones of Jerusalem, a whisper that glides through the alleys of the old city, carrying with it the weight of millennia. It is not just the murmur of prayers from three great religions or the clamor of merchants in the souks. It is something deeper, a vibration emanating from the very ground, a silent question that has sparked wars, inspired prophets, and obsessed humanity for centuries. To whom does this city truly belong? The answer usually given points to history, to conquest, and to theology. But that is only the most superficial layer of the truth. Beneath the conventional narratives, beneath the chronicles of kings and caliphs, lies a hidden knowledge, a secret wisdom that suggests the true ownership of Jerusalem is not defined by who controls its walls, but by who understands its deepest secrets. Today, we will not walk the familiar path of the history you already know. We are going to delve into the mysteries that have been veiled, into the subterranean currents of mysticism, and into the prophecies that point to Jerusalem not just as an earthly center, but as the axis of the universe, the point where the divine and the human converge in the most enigmatic and powerful way. If you are ready to unveil the secrets that the stones of Jerusalem have guarded for so long, if you want to look beyond the headlines and understand the true battle for the soul of this city, then you are in the right place. Give this a like to support this journey into the unknown, and subscribe so you don't miss a single chapter from our archive of hidden knowledge. Together, let's activate the search for truth. The history of Jerusalem, as it is told to us, is a tapestry woven with the threads of faith and the sword. It begins with an almost mythical reverence in the mists of time when a king-priest named Melchizedek ruled a city called Salem. This enigmatic figure, mentioned in the Hebrew Scriptures, blessed Abraham the patriarch, initiating a spiritual connection that would become the cornerstone of Judaism. It was King David who, centuries later, would conquer the Jebusite fortress and establish it as the capital of his united kingdom, transforming a hilltop enclave into the political and spiritual center of his people. His son, Solomon, would consolidate this legacy by building the first temple, a structure of such magnificence that it was said to be the dwelling place of the very presence of God on earth. This was no mere building. It was a microcosm, an architectural representation of the divine order, and in its sanctum sanctorum, the Holy of Holies, was kept the Ark of the Covenant, the most sacred object in Judaism, containing the tablets of the law given to Moses. The temple was the beating heart of the nation, the direct point of connection between heaven and earth. But the story of Jerusalem is also a story of loss and longing. In 586 the Babylonian Empire, BC, under the command of Nebuchadnezzar the New, razed the city and destroyed Solomon's temple. The Jewish elite were taken into exile, beginning a period of deep collective sorrow, but also of intense theological creativity. It was during this exile that the prophets most forcefully articulated the promise of a return, the unwavering belief that God would restore his people to their land and that the temple would rise again. And so it was. After the conquest of Babylon by the Persian Empire, King Cyrus the Great allowed the Jews to return. With great effort and facing numerous obstacles, the second temple was built on the ruins of the first. Although perhaps not with the same legendary splendor as Solomon's temple, this new structure once again became the center of Jewish life for nearly 5 centuries. It was this temple that was massively expanded and beautified by Herod the Great, turning it into one of the wonders of the ancient world, a colossal complex that attracted pilgrims from all over. And it was in this Jerusalem, dominated by Rome and with Herod's temple as its centerpiece, that the events that would give rise to a New World faith took place. For Christianity, Jerusalem is the stage for the drama of redemption. It is the city to which Jesus came in his final week of earthly life, where he shared the Last Supper with his disciples, where he was judged, and where he walked the Via Dolorosa to Golgotha to be executed. But more importantly, it is the site of the resurrection, the event that constitutes the very foundation of the Christian faith. The Church of the Holy Sepulchre, built by order of Emperor Constantine in the 4th century on the site identified as Jesus' tomb, became the most sacred shrine in Christendom. The city, therefore, is not just a place of historical pilgrimage, but a sacred space where the central mystery of their faith was manifested, the victory over adversity. However, Jerusalem's destiny was about to change once more. The Jewish revolt against Roman rule in 66 AD culminated in a catastrophe. In the year 70, the Roman legions, commanded by Titus, besieged and conquered Jerusalem, devastatingly destroying the Second Temple. The Great Arch of Titus in Rome, which still stands today, depicts Roman soldiers carrying off the 7-branched menorah and other temple treasures as spoils of war. This destruction marked a traumatic turning point in Jewish history, scattering the people and transforming their religious practice from a temple-centered cult to one based on the synagogue and the study of the Torah. The Romans renamed the city Aelia Capitolina and forbade Jews from entering, attempting to erase their connection to the place. But the history of the Holy City was not over. In the 7th century, a new force emerged from the Arabian Peninsula, bringing Islam with it a new revelation, known as Al-Quds, the Holy One, is the third holiest site after Mecca and Medina. Its importance stems from the Prophet Muhammad's night journey, the Isra and Miraj. According to Islamic tradition, Muhammad was miraculously transported from Mecca to the site of the ancient temple in Jerusalem, a place the Quran calls the farthest mosque, Al-Masjid al-Aqsa. From a rock on that mount, he ascended to commemorate the 7 heavens to receive Muslim instructions from God. 2 of the most iconic structures in the world, the Dome of the Rock, with its dazzling golden dome over the Stone of Ascension, and the Al-Aqsa Mosque. The Temple Mount of the Jews became the Haram al-Sharif, the noble sanctuary of the Muslims. Over the following centuries, control of Jerusalem changed hands in a relentless cycle of conquest and reconquest. Christian crusaders from Europe seized it in 1099, establishing a Latin kingdom that lasted for nearly a century, until the great Muslim leader Saladin recaptured it. Later came the Mamluks, and finally the powerful Ottoman Empire, which ruled the city for 400 years, from 1517 to 1917. It was the Ottomans, under Suleiman the Magnificent, who built the imposing walls that still surround the old city today. After the collapse of the Ottoman Empire in World War I, Jerusalem came under the British Mandate, a period that saw an increase in Jewish immigration and growing tensions with the Arab population. The United Nations Partition Plan of 1947 proposed that Jerusalem become an international city, a corpus separatum. But the war that broke out in 1948 following Israel's declaration of independence left the city divided. Jordan controlled the eastern part, including the Old City, while the new state of Israel established its capital in the western part. For 19 years, the city was split in two by barbed wire and walls. In the Six-Day War of 1967, Israel captured East Jerusalem, reunifying the city under its control and declaring it its eternal and indivisible capital, a declaration not recognized by much of the international community. This narrative, full of drama and conflict, is the truth found in history books. But it is only the prologue to a much stranger story. The real battle for Jerusalem is not fought solely on battlefields or in the corridors of diplomacy. It is fought on a different plane, a plane of consciousness, mysticism, and secret knowledge. The real question is not who has the historical right, but who holds the key to deciphering the city's cosmic purpose. And to find that key, we must delve into the esoteric traditions that see Jerusalem not as an earthly prize, but as a portal. Let us now delve into the hidden layers, into the esoteric wisdom that each tradition has jealously guarded. This knowledge suggests that the physical structures of Jerusalem are mere symbols, earthly anchors for spiritual forces of immense power. Number 1. The axis of the world in Kabbalah. For Jewish mystics, the Kabbalists, Jerusalem is much more than the ancient capital. It is the axis mundi, the navel of the world, the connection point between the upper and lower dimensions of existence. Kabbalah teaches that Solomon's temple was not simply a work of human architecture, but an earthly replica of a celestial temple. Its design and rituals were not arbitrary, but were imbued with deep cosmic symbolism, designed to channel the flow of divine energy, the Shekinah, or presence of God, into the physical world. The stone upon which the temple was built, the same one from which Muslims believe Muhammad ascended, is known in Jewish tradition as the Even HaShtiyah, the foundation stone. Kabbalists believe this stone is the starting point of creation, the place from which the rest of the universe unfolded, the center of the cosmos. When Jews pray facing Jerusalem, and in Jerusalem facing the Temple Mount, they are not simply orienting themselves geographically. They are aligning their consciousness with this focal point of divine energy, the gateway to the celestial realms. The destruction of the temples was, therefore, a cosmic catastrophe, a rupture in this vital conduit. The Wailing Wall, the last remnant of the Second Temple complex, is not just a place of mourning, but an access point to that residual energy, a place where prayers are believed to ascend directly to the throne of God. The hidden knowledge here is that the true temple is not of stone, but of consciousness, and that the rebuilding of the Third Temple prophesied in the Scriptures may not be a purely physical event, but the restoration of this cosmic connection within humanity, an event whose catalyst must occur at this specific geographical nexus. Number 2. The Templar Secrets and the Christian Grail. When the Knights Templar, the enigmatic order of warrior monks, established themselves in Jerusalem in the 12th century, they set up their headquarters in the Al-Aqsa Mosque, which they believed to be the site of Solomon's temple. During the decades they spent excavating beneath the Haram al-Sharif, legends arose that they found not only material treasures but something far more significant: secret knowledge. Esoteric theories, though unproven by conventional history, suggest that the Templars discovered sacred texts that were saved from the temple's destruction, possibly related to the secret teachings of Jesus, or even the legendary Holy Grail. This Grail may not have been a cup, but a body of knowledge, a wisdom about the true nature of divinity and human potential that contradicted the doctrines of the Church of Rome. This knowledge, it is said, is what granted them their immense power and wealth so quickly, and it was also the true reason for their brutal suppression by King Philip IV of France and Pope Clement V in 1307. According to this view, the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, though sacred, is the site of the exoteric story, the story for the masses. The true mystery, the operative knowledge of Christianity, the key to achieving a state of Christ consciousness, was buried beneath the Temple Mount, the place the Templars guarded. The hidden Christian truth, therefore, would not be in the empty tomb, but in the secrets that still lie beneath the temple's foundations, secrets the Templars may have found and disseminated through the secret societies of Europe. Jerusalem, in this tradition, is the place where the key to deciphering the true message of Christianity is hidden, a message of inner transformation rather than simple worship. Number 3. The inner journey of Islamic Sufism. For the mystical branch of Islam, Sufism, Muhammad's night journey from Mecca to Jerusalem and his subsequent ascension to heaven, is not just a historical event or a physical miracle. It is, above all, Mecca represents the heart of the soul's journey, the starting point of the spiritual quest. Jerusalem, the farthest mosque, represents the stage of the soul's purification, the furthest point that can be reached through human effort and spiritual discipline. It is the gateway to the direct experience of the divine. The ascension from the rock is not a journey through outer space, but an inward journey, through the different levels of consciousness to the final union with God. Great Sufi masters like Rumi and Ibn Arabi interpreted Jerusalem as a state of being. To reach Jerusalem, is to reach a state of inner peace and enlightenment where the ego dissolves. The dome of the rock, with its perfect geometry and celestial design, is not just a shrine, but a mandala, a tool for meditation on the unity of God and the perfection of creation. The hidden wisdom of Sufism teaches that the battle for Jerusalem is not for a piece of land, to conquer one's own inner Jerusalem, the purified heart, is the true goal of the believer. The physical structures of the city are a constant reminder of this inner journey, a mirror of the spiritual geography that every seeker must navigate. Therefore, whoever controls the physical Jerusalem without having undertaken the journey to the inner Jerusalem possesses nothing at all. These three mystical currents, though seemingly distinct, point to a convergent truth. Jerusalem is a place where the veil between worlds is exceptionally thin. It is an amplifier of spiritual energy, for better or for worse. The intensity of the conflict that surrounds it is not just the result of political and religious disputes, but an external reflection of the powerful and volatile energies concentrated there. The ancient builders, whether Solomon, Herod, or the Umayyad caliphs, may have been aware of these energies. Theories of sacred geometry and archaeoastronomy suggest that the location and layout of Jerusalem's sacred structures are not accidental. They are aligned with celestial bodies and are located on points of an earth energy grid, often referred to as ley lines. According to this perspective, the Temple Mount is not just a holy place by religious decree, but it is a natural energy vortex, a place where telluric and cosmic forces meet. Whoever builds on this spot and knows how to do it correctly could, in theory, influence the consciousness of the planet. This brings us to the prophecies. All three Abrahamic religions have apocalyptic traditions that place Jerusalem at the center of the events of the end times. For many Jews and evangelical Christians, the construction of a third temple on the Temple Mount is a prerequisite for the arrival of the Messiah. For Islam, the area of the Haram al-Sharif is where many of the events of Judgment Day will take place. These prophecies can be interpreted literally as future events that will occur in the physical city. But from an esoteric perspective, they could be metaphors for a global shift in consciousness. The New Jerusalem described in the book of Revelation, which descends from heaven, might not be a literal city, but a new level of human consciousness, a state of peace and enlightenment that is first anchored at the most spiritually attuned point on earth, Jerusalem. The struggle for Jerusalem, then, takes on a new dimension. Perhaps it is not about who it belongs to by right of inheritance, but about which vision of the future will manifest through this powerful portal. Will it be a vision of exclusion and conflict, which will amplify the divisions of humanity? Or will it be a vision of unity and understanding, which will use the city's unique convergence of energies to heal the planet? The hidden truth of Jerusalem is that it is a mirror. It reflects the state of human consciousness. The conflict we see today is a reflection of our own internal divisions and our lack of understanding of deeper truths. The real question, therefore, is not whose is Jerusalem? The real question is, what are we creating through Jerusalem? The city is a test, a cosmic responsibility. Its ownership is not a right, but a spiritual burden, and only those who can transcend the narratives of division and embrace the unifying wisdom that lies at the mystical heart of each tradition will be the true heirs of the city of peace. The final answer to the question of its ownership may not be found in the past, but in the future we choose to create.